Both my mother's and father's families can trace their roots back to Germany to the early 1700s, even before the United States was a country. My father was a survivor of Dachau concentration camp. He never spoke to anyone about his experiences in the concentration camp. The only thing he ever told my sister and me was to always be prepared. A Holocaust could happen here in the United States. What you've seen in your tour of the museum is what's called the spiral of hate, or progression of hate, which starts with stereotypes, followed by prejudice, then discrimination, violence, and then genocide. This display also shows examples of recent murders here in the United States. In April of 2014 in Kansas City, Missouri, at the Jewish Community Center, where a grandfather was picking up his grandson from play practice. A white supremacist from southern Missouri shot and killed them both. This person went on to the Jewish Center for the Aged, which is close to the Jewish Community Center, and shot someone in their parking lot. The irony to this tragedy is all three people this white supremacist killed were not Jewish. Next is the Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, South Carolina in June of 2015. 9 people were murdered during a weekday prayer service. The only reason they were murdered was that they were black. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in October of 2018 at the Tree of Life Synagogue, 11 people were senselessly murdered during a Shabbat worship service. The Walmart store in El Paso, Texas in August of 2019, 22 people were murdered. The only reason they were murdered, they were Hispanic. Genocides in Rwanda, Syria, Sudan, and Armenia are also on this display. And unfortunately, by the time you are watching this video, others will have been added to this horrible list. There's a quote on the wall by Martin Niemöller, an anti-Nazi Lutheran minister, who wrote, "First they came for the communists and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me." There were 4 groups involved in the Holocaust. First were the perpetrators, the Nazis and their collaborators. The second were the victims, Jews, people with disabilities, people of color, the gypsies. Third were the righteous, those people that helped others by hiding them, by helping them flee Nazi Germany. And the fourth group were the bystanders. And you saw many pictures of bystanders as you toured through the museum. The 2 that stand out in my mind the most are the one where after the war was over, American soldiers took people living by the concentration camps into the camps and showed them the horrors that transpired in the camps. The second one is that of the Einsatzgruppen, where it shows one soldier ready to shoot a person with all these other soldiers watching on and doing absolutely nothing about it. My hope is that if you learned anything at all from this video tour of the museum, is not to become a bystander. One of the best examples of how bystanders can help is the tragedy of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida in February of 2018, where 17 people were senselessly murdered. This is an excellent example how students were not bystanders, how they became actively involved, how they traveled through the United States, and how they made a difference. Talking to teachers as I've given tours over this past year, they've all said to me how these students from Parkland have made a tremendous difference in how the school districts are doing their active shooters drills and how they hopefully will save lives in case there is a need. I'd like to end with a quote from Elie Wiesel, the noted author and survivor of Auschwitz, who wrote, "To remain silent and indifferent is the greatest sin of all."